Elephants are highly intelligent. They have the largest brain of any animal on land. They have 3 times as many neurons as humans, which is why they demonstrate a high level of intelligence. During intelligence tests, elephants used shortcuts to quickly solve problems. Elephants can tell the difference between human languages and can identify the language of their caretaker or those with the history of hurting them. If they hear a language from someone who is likely to pose a threat, they quickly switch into defensive mode. Elephants also know when to call humans for help and can find humans even over long distances. They also exhibit complex social behaviors. Their families can only be separated by death or capture. Because of their complex intertwined relationships, a family of elephants can be devastated by the death of another. A mother whose calf just died will distance herself from the group to grieve. Elephants bury their dead and mourn them afterwards. They also bury the remains of other animals if they come across them. Elephants have been observed comforting each other during distress. They stroke one another with their trunks and emit small chirps. Cloning a dinosaur isn't as easy as you may think. You can't just take DNA of a dinosaur and use it for cloning. This is because DNA's half-life is 521 years, which means after 521 years from the death of an organism, genetic information in DNA are no longer suitable for cloning. During these 521 years, DNA begins to disintegrate until it loses its ability to be cloned. And because dinosaurs existed millions of years ago, genetic information from these creatures cannot last to the present day. However, there is still a solution around this problem. Although ancient DNA cannot be cloned, it could still be sequenced. Scientists can sequence the genetic information of ancient DNA samples and fill the gaps with DNA from the descendants of the dinosaurs, in this case, birds. Once the entire genome is fully prepared, it could be printed using a machine called automated DNA synthesizer, which will create a fresh DNA sample that could be used for cloning. Gray hair could be the result of changes in the immune system. Scientists believe that the genes that are involved in hair color are also involved in the body's immune system. After a viral or bacterial infection, the body's immune system is activated. Your immune cells stop producing molecules that fight off the infection. Some infected cells also send signals to the immune cells to come to the site of infection. One of these signals is a protein called MITF, which happens to be involved in making the pigment in hair cells. A mutation in this protein can lead to an overactive response to infections, which also results in the loss of pigment cells, leading to sudden graying of hair. This means the genes that control pigment in hair also work to control the innate immune system. While the study was mainly conducted on mice, researchers predict that humans with similar mutations could show a similar response, resulting in spontaneous hair graying after an infection. Wisdom teeth are gradually disappearing from our anatomy. According to a recent study, more and more humans are born without wisdom teeth. The study shows that the human race is evolving at a rate faster than ever before, and this is affecting wisdom teeth. Around 35% of humans are born without wisdom teeth. However, this number is increasing as we continue to evolve and adapt. For most people, wisdom teeth appear in their late teens or early 20s. If wisdom teeth are not properly aligned, they need to be removed. Wisdom teeth that are misaligned can damage nearby tooth or nerves and cause excruciating pain. Wisdom teeth can become vulnerable to infection, leading to tooth decay and gum disease. There are a number of surgical procedures that can help with removing wisdom teeth. However, it is great to know that they themselves are disappearing on their own from our anatomy throughout the course of our evolution. Do you have wisdom teeth? Have you ever removed one of them? Share your experience in the comments section. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? It happens when you're almost asleep, but at the same time you're conscious, and yet you can't move a muscle. During sleep paralysis, you might feel pressure on your chest, or as if you were choking. Episodes of this condition can last a few seconds or minutes. The chances of experiencing sleep paralysis increase with stress, trauma, anxiety, and depression. During your sleep, you enter a phase called REM, or rapid eye movement. This is the stage of sleep where you dream. During the REM phase, your muscles are essentially turned off. This happens to prevent you from acting out your dreams and hurting yourself. Sleep paralysis occurs when your brain moves out of this phase, but your body hasn't yet caught up. Many people experience hallucinations during sleep paralysis, which occur because the brain is still in a dream state. People have reported seeing strange and unusual visuals while experiencing sleep paralysis. Sleeping on your back may cause frequent episodes of sleep paralysis. You can avoid sleep paralysis by following a regular sleep schedule. So, how often have you experienced this phenomenon? Plants have their own immune system. Nearly every plant cell has the ability to detect invaders and defend itself against them. These invaders can be bacteria, fungi, viruses, insects, and nematodes. Plant's immune system continues to adapt to keep up with constantly evolving parasites. The first line of defense in plants uses physical barriers, which include wax, hard shells, thorns, and spines. If these external defenses are breached, plants trigger their internal immune system. Plant cells have receptors that can identify pathogens. Such receptors, when activated, trigger an immune response within the cell to prevent pathogens from entering inside the plant. If microbes succeed in damaging one section of the plant, it will send signals to self-destruct cells in a localized area around the site of infection. This prevents the spread of pathogens to other parts of the plant. An area of a plant under attack can alert other regions using hormones, airborne compounds, or even electrical signals. When other parts of the plant detect these signals, they increase their production of defensive compounds. Isn't that amazing? The Amazon rainforest is called the lungs of our planet because it continuously recycles carbon dioxide into oxygen. More than 20% of the world's oxygen is produced in the Amazon rainforest, which is why it's one of the most important places in our planet. The Amazon rainforest encompasses the single largest tropical rainforest in the world, which houses at least 10% of the world's known biodiversity. More than half of the world's estimated 10 million species of plants, animals, and insects live in the tropical rainforest. A single hectare may contain over 750 types of trees and 1,500 species of high plants. Some of these plants are rich of molecules that can be used to treat different diseases. These molecules are being studied by scientists to produce different medicines. The Amazon rainforest hosts as many as 50 endangered species that only live there. The forest, which also happens to be a home to 50 indigenous tribes, is threatened by wildfires and deforestation, and it's our duty to protect it. Octopuses emerged over 400 million years ago. They were the first intelligent beings on the planet. They still retain that intelligence up to date. Each octopus has a massive brain that consists of 500 million neurons. This allows them to solve puzzles, navigate simple mazes, and even recognize individual human faces. They also have a short-term memory that allows them to remember solutions to different mazes. Majority of their neurons are located in their arms, which do not only give them the ability to touch, but also to smell and even taste food. Yes, octopuses taste food using their tentacles. Octopuses have 10,000 more genes than humans. Some of these unique genes help them survive for millions of years. They have built-in mechanism for editing and directing their own genes. Octopuses are strong and can exert a force greater than their own body weight. They are the masters of camouflage, with the ability to change colors and squirt out a poison against their prey. It's illegal in Europe and the UK to conduct surgical procedures on octopuses without anesthesia. Kidney stones can cause a lot of pain. 1 in 10 people will have a kidney stone over the course of a lifetime. Luckily, there are different ways to reduce the risk of forming kidney stones. First, you need to stay hydrated. Drink between 6 and 8 glasses of water per day. When urine contains more fluid, it's less likely that minerals and salts will form stones. Also, avoid excessive salt intake. Salt can increase water retention in the body and lead to dehydration. It also increases the amount of calcium in your urine, so try not to consume too much salt. You should also limit your consumption of animal protein such as red meat, poultry, eggs, and seafood. Animal protein increases the level of uric acid and could lead to kidney stones. A high-protein diet also reduces levels of citrate, which is a chemical in the urine that helps prevent stones from forming. And finally, reduce your intake of foods that contain calcium oxalate. Around 67% of kidney stones consist mainly of calcium oxalate, which can be found in grapefruit, cranberry juice, potatoes, and soybeans. So, have you ever experienced kidney stones? When you cut grass, there is a certain smell that you can sense afterwards. This smell is actually a mixture of chemicals released by freshly cut grass. Some of these chemicals act as a distress signal. So what do these distress signals do? Some of the chemicals that plants release after being cut act as antibiotics, which prevent bacterial infection and inhibit fungal growth. Some other chemicals stimulate the formation of new cells at the site of injury where the plant is being cut. Plants also produce compounds that are toxic to microbes and insects. Some of these compounds are tailor-made for a specific threat. When some plants are being eaten by caterpillars, they send chemical signals to parasitic wasps. The wasps then respond to these signals, come to the rescue, and attack the caterpillars. This is a type of beneficial relationship that plants form with other organisms that protect them from harmful invaders. A stinging tree called the gempi produces a toxin so painful that it has driven people and animals to suicide. It is the most toxic of the Australian species of stinging trees. So the next time you see a plant, remember to never underestimate its power. The next pandemic could actually come from melting ice. According to recent studies, the ice caps of our planet hold ancient viruses that have been buried in deep layers of permafrost for thousands of years. As climate change continues to melt the ice caps, these viruses could be released into the wild. Some of them could be deadly and entirely new to science. These viruses are called giant viruses because their genetic material is massive, containing anywhere from hundreds to thousands of genes. And as the permafrost melts, scientists are finding them more and more frequently. Some of these giant viruses were found 1,000 feet underground, buried in a 30,000-year-old permafrost. Even after being buried for more than 30,000 years in ancient permafrost, when researchers exposed amoebas in their lab to one of these viruses, they found that the virus was still active and quickly infected the host cell. Giant viruses are tougher, more resistant to environmental conditions, and are harder to destroy than viruses that infect humans and multi-celled animals. So, if we don't fix the climate change problem, we're in for big surprises. Bionic limbs are artificial limbs designed to restore motion to people with limited mobility. These limbs include bionic hands and artificial legs. They are either powered electronically, mechanically, or both. Artificial limbs detect signals from the user's muscles, while some of them are controlled by the power of thought. They scan brain signals, convert them into computer commands, then translate these commands into motion. In recent years, artificial limbs became even more advanced, allowing users to touch different objects and sense what they are touching. These bionic limbs work by sending feedback signals to the nervous system, which the brain converts into sensation that the user can feel. Artificial limbs do not require surgery to work. However, some of them are custom-made to respond to the user's muscles. The average prosthetic limb lasts up to 5 years. The field of prosthetic replacements has been advancing rapidly in recent years. However, it has existed for a while. The oldest known prosthetic replacement was found in Cairo, Egypt. It is a 3,000-year-old wooden prosthetic toe, which was found attached to a female mummy in an ancient Egyptian gravesite. Our observable universe is 13.8 billion years old. It's about 93 billion light years in diameter. It contains at least 200 billion galaxies and over 700 quintillion planets. As of now, over 4,300 exoplanets have been confirmed. They're called exoplanets because they exist outside of our solar system. At least 55 of them orbit in the habitable zone of other stars. Our Milky Way galaxy is 100,000 light years across. That's basically 946 quadrillion kilometers. The Milky Way galaxy contains up to 400 billion stars and anywhere between 100 to 200 billion planets. Our galaxy alone contains at least 6 billion Earth-like planets. These are planets that may have the right conditions to support the existence of life. Our solar system alone contains promising places where we could find alien life. The list includes Titan, Saturn's largest moon, Enceladus, Saturn's sixth largest moon, Europa, Jupiter's ocean moon, and Mars. Do you still think that we're alone in the universe? If you could travel at the speed of light without breaking down to your basic atoms, you'd be able to go around the Earth 7.5 times in a single second. Even though our Sun is a staggering 150 million kilometers away from Earth, it takes light just 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach here. The speed of light is measured in vacuum. Light travels at a speed of 299,792 kilometers per second. No object can travel faster than that in a vacuum. Light from the nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, requires 4.3 years to get here, which is why this star system is said to be 4.3 light years away. When astronomers study an object that lies a light year or more, they are seeing it the way it was when light left it, and not as it actually is in the present time. In this sense, everything we observe in the distant universe is history. When you look at the night sky and you gaze at the stars, you're basically seeing an old picture of the universe. Isn't that remarkable?